What are some decisions that you made while horny and you regretted it after? Hooked up with a girl at my local bar. We wanted to get frisky, but I really didn't want to take her home because I was still living with my parents in a very noisy house. Decided to do it anyway because I was drunk and horny. When we were cycling to my place, we came by an abandoned church, so I asked her to check it out, which ended in sex in the garden of this church. We were both satisfied, so I got home alone. The next day I couldn't find my wallet anywhere, so I went back to the church to check if it fell out of my pocket. Well, the church wasn't abandoned anymore. It was refitted as a house a few months earlier, so that's when I found out I banged this girl in some random lady her garden. The lady was raking the garden and I asked if she had seen a wallet. Well, she did, and she looked at me very angry and asked if the used condom next to the wallet was mine as well. I was very ashamed and told her I was very sorry. In the end, I ended up raking her garden to make up for it. Drove 4 hours both ways for mediocre sex. As a young teen, I once jerked off with cooking oil. I had never gotten to try jerking off with lube or lotion before, and for some reason we didn't have lotion anywhere in the home at the time. So my dumbass thought this would be just as good. I oiled up my hand and fucked my hand mattress. I had the worst post-nut clarity in my life. My god, the clean up. At least I had the common sense to use a towel, but I still had to shower that off me. I had sex with my BF at the time in the backyard of a house party. No one could see us. I was on top, he was on bottom. I took my shirt off, and in the 10 minutes of rolling around I apparently attracted every mosquito in the area and my entire back was filled with mosquito bites. So uncomfortable. Absolutely terrible. My friends set me up with a girl when I was 19 after they found out that not only was I a virgin, but had never been on a date or even kissed a girl up to that point. Me and this girl were both drunk, we had unprotected sex, and I came in her. The next 2 weeks were the worst 2 weeks of my life because 1. She neglected to tell me she was getting over swine flu. Spent the next 5 days puking and with some terrible diarrhea. Took so many sick days from work they threatened to fire me. And 2. After a week she messaged me on MSN Messenger telling me she thought she was pregnant. Turns out she wasn't, but she took over a week to tell me that. Spent the whole week extremely stressed out. Between the sickness and the lack of eating due to stress, I lost over 20 pounds in a 2-week period. As a horny teenager, I decided that using a vacuum cleaner to simulate oral sex was a good idea. It was not. I once did way too much coke in my mid-20s and decided to have a coke jerk. Through a full 5 hours of cranking it, I finally busted. Then my heart went into flutters and all my strength to open a bottle of water was gone. I'm seriously surprised I didn't die. Was super horny, hadn't been able to jerk it in a week cause I was staying at a buddy's house. Then realized he lived down the block from a porno store. You know that phrase, don't go grocery shopping while hungry? Well, don't go to a porno store as a horny and weak without an orgasm 19-year-old. Blew like $250 on just a couple crappy DVDs. Half regret. Nearly fell for a scam. Buy me a bottle of wine for us and a Steam gift card, so my kid will be distracted. I even showed up at the address. It was a vacant house, and she wouldn't come out until I entered the card code into some website that definitely wasn't Steam. So that night, I enjoyed a glass of wine and a new game. Tried to dye my hair for a lass I fancied when I was about 20. She liked blonde-haired men and my hair was very dark brown. I had know what I was doing and bought dye from the chemist. It went orange. I looked like Cuddles from Orville. She slept with me, I assume, out of sympathy or as a reward for sheer effort. On balance, it wasn't worth it. My dick has led me to places I wouldn't go with a gun. Not sure if this counts, but was about to do it with a guy and discovered we had no condoms. Decided to drive across town to his place since he had some. Got in a minor, not our fault car accident on the way there. Ended up at the cop station to report it instead of banging. I went to a prostitute on red light district for 100 euros a blowjob for 20 minutes. It is important to clarify that you have the right to come only once. If you come in 2 minutes, that's it. So I paid 100 euros and couldn't come in 20 minutes and decided to ask how much sex with her costs. In the end I paid another 400 euros for sex, which she started again with a blowjob, and I come in 30 seconds and sadly left. Got bronchitis because I was horny and didn't care that she was sick. TBF, she said she was over it and no longer contagious. As a young teen I was humping my mattress. Never tried it before and it felt good. Got carried away, slipped slightly and ripped my banjo string. Blood everywhere. Ought to be 14. There is one gold rule fap before making decisions. Rubbed one out vigorously leading to a frenulum tear. Shoving a cucumber in my ass. I had sex with my older sister's best friend who had a crush on me after a party and didn't take it any further. It became all hell for my sister and it ruined their friendship. I feel bad because my sister is the most loving and would always care for me in spite of her own well-being. The amount of times I've been late to things because I would rub one out and then knock out afterwards is a number I'm not proud of nor care to count.